this is obviously the first project for Great Northern in this area and in this space, and that's obviously going to be a key focus. Initially, is looking at how we understand better the region and also the data that we have on the area, and then look at our early exploration targets. We'll mainly be focused in the first place on kind of rock chip samples and soil samples in the first instance, and then from that we'll look to build out a drilling program based on the back of those results.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Scott Downsborough from Great Northern Minerals. Scott, very good to meet you. You're out with news today that you've acquired the Catalyst Ridge projects in California. Before we get into that, for those new to the company, could you give us a quick overview of Great Northern Minerals and its strategy in critical metals?
Yep, I can. Thank you. So, Great Northern Minerals have previously been focused on gold exploration, specifically in Australia. But over the last few months, the company's looked to pivot that strategy and identified critical minerals in the US as being a real area of focus for the company and a real growth strategy on that. So we've been focused on looking at projects in the US related to critical minerals, and I think going forward that will be the clear focus for the company's strategy.
Scott, you just joined as General Manager of US Projects. Could you tell investors a little bit about your background and what brings you to Great Northern Minerals?
Yeah, my background's mainly in the finance space. I spent a lot of time in London working mainly in banking and financial markets, doing a lot of work around project management, transformation, and managing some M&A transactions. So I've recently come on board with G&M, looking to really manage the US projects going forward, try and get them through the next phase where we work through the exploration, and then we'll look at how things look after the next phase of exploration.
Well, the Catalyst Ridge project sits right next to MP Materials in the Mountain Pass district. Why is this location so strategically important?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen a real focus from the US government into this sector, specifically in the critical mineral space, in terms of trying to shore up that domestic supply of critical minerals. This particular area contains MP Materials rare earth mine, which is a globally significant rare earth mine and the only one in the US. The US government has come out with some really strong support for MP Minerals through a $400 million investment. And recently we've seen that followed up with a $500 million investment from Apple in terms of partnerships with MP Minerals, not only to shore up their supply of batteries, but also look at a recycling plant that's going to be situated very close to our Catalyst Ridge project. So I think that really shows how significant this area is for the production of critical minerals and specifically rare earths into the future.
What does the acquisition mean for Great Northern's growth plans in the US, and how will you approach early exploration at Catalyst Ridge?
Yeah, I think this is obviously the first project for Great Northern in this area and in this space, and that's obviously going to be a key focus. Initially is looking at how we understand better the region and also the data that we have on the area, and then look at our early exploration targets. We'll mainly be focused in the first place on kind of rock chip samples and soil samples in the first instance, and then from that we'll look to build out a drilling program based on the back of those results. And
you've just completed a $2.6 million capital raise. How will these funds be used, and what near-term milestones should investors be looking for?
Yeah, these funds will primarily be focused on progressing the early exploration work at Catalyst Ridge. So investors can look out over the next few weeks with a more formal plan on how we propose to start those exploration works and how we propose to start the field works that will be starting to progress over the next month or two. And then off the back of that, we're hoping that'll really inform a well-informed drilling program.
Well, Scott, I hope you'll keep us posted on your progress with that. Congratulations again on your appointment.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to keeping everyone updated.
That's Scott Downsborough, General Manager of US Projects at Great Northern Minerals.